It's a tragic situation, and I cried like a little baby when I heard about it.
Only on Way 31, hear from a woman who knew Jennifer Long. The woman investigators say stabbed her son to death today.
We spoke to the new general in charge of the U.S. Army Materiel Command out at Redstone Arsenal following a change of command ceremony today.
Parts of our area seeing a little bit of light rain at this hour. I'm Way 31 Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust, and I'll have the latest timeline for when the rest of us can expect rain overnight tonight.
Thanks for joining us for Way 31 News at 10. I'm Nikel Williams.
And I'm Dan Schaefer. New at 10 and only on Way 31 News. We're hearing from someone who knew Jennifer Long, the woman Morgan County Sheriff's Office says stabbed her 8-year-old son to death.
Long was arrested early this morning and charged with capital murder. She's also accused of stabbing her father, who was airlifted to Huntsville Hospital. He is expected to be okay.
Way 31's Xavier Wary joins us live outside the Morgan County Jail tonight. Xavier, you spoke exclusively to that person who says she knew Long and worked with her for nearly 3 years.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Nikel and Dan, Jennifer Long is booked right here behind me tonight at the Morgan County Jail. She's also been booked without bond. Earlier today, I spoke with someone who says that she used to work with Long. She met her in 2019, and although she did not want to be identified this evening, she says when she heard the news about what happened to her 8-year-old son, she was absolutely heartbroken.
Yes, it shocked me so bad. I bawled like a little baby.
This woman, who wishes to remain anonymous, says she worked with Jennifer Long at a McDonald's in Moulton back in 2019. This woman describes her interactions with Long throughout the years.
As a person, she was always either on the go or always scatterbrained. What I mean by scatterbrained, she was like all over the place. I guess from being on so many drugs and everything. I wouldn't doubt in my mind that she was on drugs when she did what she did to her son.
According to court records, police arrived at a home in Hartselle early this morning where Long's father was suffering from stab wounds. He told police to go to another house to check on Long's 8-year-old son because he was afraid that his grandson was in danger. Deputies rushed to that house. They found Long making her way downstairs. Authorities detained her, and she told them that her 8-year-old was dead. Police made their way upstairs to the master bedroom and confirmed the brutal truth that the 8-year-old was deceased in the bed of the master bedroom.
I'm still in shock over it. I didn't think she would do anything like that.
Yeah, now, this has been a very emotional day for so many people. Tonight, I was supposed to speak with a representative of the Morgan County Sheriff's Office. However, they say that today was just so emotionally taxing and they were not able to speak with me today. I'm told that deputies and investigators with the Morgan County Sheriff's Office, anybody who had to deal with that scene earlier today, counselors will be on standby for them. I'm also told that a crisis team will be at the Priceville Elementary School for students both tomorrow and on Monday. Now, look, we here at Way 31, we are still working to learn both a motive as well as the name of the victim in this case. So we will continue to work on that and we will provide you information as we get any updates. And we will give you that both live on air and on our website, waytv.com. I'm reporting live tonight in Morgan County. Xavier Wary, Way 31 News.
A difficult day for everyone. Thank you, Xavier. Former Limestone County Sheriff Mike Blakely will have his conviction appeal heard by a retired judge. Alabama Supreme Court appointed retired Marshall County Judge Alan Jolly to hear that case. Blakely filed another appeal when he began serving his 3-year sentence at the Franklin County Jail for a theft and ethics conviction. The Morgan County Commission approved a contract for a new jail security system through Southwestern Communications Incorporated. The electronic security systems contract will cost more than $17,000 each quarter and last through February of next year.
A Franklin County grand jury indicted a former Red Bay Police Academy recruit on sex crimes charges. Ronnie Grissom is facing charges including sexual abuse, electronic solicitation, and transmitting obscene material. Investigators with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office say he used Snapchat to message girls. They say he tried to get one of them to meet him for sex. Deputies arrested Grissom around Thanksgiving just before he was fired. His arraignment is set for April 18th.
4 minutes after 10 o'clock, a live look here over Decatur from our Thompson Roofing and Construction Sky Camera Network. Rain will be moving into North Alabama in the overnight hours.
Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust is standing by with the timeline.
Yeah, Dan and Nickel, we are looking at a good chance of rain across all of North Alabama overnight tonight. We're seeing a little bit of that spilling into our area right now, but the bulk of the rain, this right here, that's going to be moving in a few hours from now. So we still have a little ways to go. That's the cold front that will eventually move through our area tomorrow morning. Let's get right to our Muscle Shoals live radar on the Way 31 Storm Tracker early warning radar network. Bulk of the rain at this hour is north of the Alabama-Tennessee state line in Wayne County, a little bit farther to the east in Giles County, seeing some light to moderate rain at this moment. Very light rain in Limestone County at this hour as well. As for the rest of us, dry at this moment. Might get some sprinkles in Huntsville pretty soon, but the heavier rain is expected to head our way overnight tonight. Let's get the latest look at the data from the future radar. And as you can see, as we move through time here, it's going to be between probably 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. that the bulk of this rain and potentially a couple of weak thunderstorms pass through the area. I want to reiterate what I've said the past few days. We are not expecting severe weather in North Alabama with anything we see tonight or anything that comes our way tomorrow. Now, as we head toward tomorrow morning, the rain is going to become more scattered off and on in nature all the way through the mid-afternoon. By late afternoon, we can anticipate drier conditions to move in. But in general, St. Patrick's Day looking damp and cooler, certainly than what we felt today. And that colder trend is going to continue as we head toward the weekend and even early next week. We'll have a closer look at that weekend forecast, let you know when we could see additional rain chances in the next 7 days. All coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Taylor. Track the rain with our Storm Tracker early warning radar network by downloading the Way 31 weather app. It's free for all your devices.
Only on Way 31, we're hearing from the new commanding general for the U.S. Army Materiel Command at Redstone Arsenal. Lieutenant General Charles Hamilton is returning to the Arsenal to lead AMC. General Hamilton says he's thrilled to return to the Tennessee Valley. He took his post in a change of command ceremony today. Hundreds of active U.S. Army members attended. Hamilton was promoted after General Ed Daly's decision to retire. He says the two have served together.
First of all, Ed Daly, General, is a great friend of mine. He's a great leader, a great warfighter. I'm following some pretty big footsteps, but I'm up to the challenge and I'm looking forward to it.
Part of General Hamilton's job includes sending materials and logistics to U.S. armed forces and allies like Ukraine.
Happening today, March Madness is here in Alabama. The Crimson Tide winning another game as the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament down in Birmingham. The Tide dominated in a 96-75 victory. Later in sports, we'll have details and highlights from the Auburn Tigers' win over Iowa.
We have a traffic alert for you if you'll be driving in Huntsville tonight. Pratt Avenue between Meridian and Dement Streets will be closed from 10 tonight through Friday morning, 4 a.m. Crews will be working on a water service line there. You'll also need to take a detour if you're going to be driving near Martling Gap Road out near Gunnersville State Park. Marshall County EMA says the intersection at Martling Gap Road and Alabama 227 will be closed. It'll be closed until further notice for repairs. You'll need to take Hustleville Road to Martling Road.
United Launch Alliance's new Decatur-made Vulcan rocket rolled out to the launch pad last week. Vulcan now stands tall and proud at Space Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Crews began tanking tests today, which includes countdowns, procedures, and timelines. Vulcan's launch team will get the chance to receive certification through operating Vulcan's hardware in real time. These tests are just part of the qualifications Vulcan must pass before the rocket's inaugural flight.
After the shutdown of two major banks, U.S. officials are working to reassure Americans. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen went before the Senate Finance Committee today. She talked about the health of the nation's financial institutions. Yellen told the committee taxpayers will not end up footing the bill for the now failed Silicon Valley and Signature banks.
There were people in society who were supportive of her going into politics, but there were definitely people who thought it was not really a woman's place.
Next, a look at how a pioneer from the past paved the way for women in Alabama politics.
Tomorrow morning's commute, not nearly as cold as it's been the past few mornings, but we will be contesting with some wet roadways. The latest on how long the rain's going to stick around on Friday, coming up next.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching Way 31 News with Dan Schaefer, Nickel Williams, Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust, Sports Director Nolan Knight, and the Way 31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network.
Some women say the view of women's history over time can be murky. It's mainly because there's a lot to celebrate, but there are still many obstacles, especially in the political arena.
For women searching for a path forward, a look back at those who've paved the way can perhaps help bring the future into focus.
Hattie Wilkins, a trailblazer in a male-dominated space.
She took the opportunity to run for really the first available election in 1922, and she was elected to serve on the Alabama State Legislature in 1923.
The first woman to break the barrier and shatter the glass ceiling in Alabama politics.
Hattie Wilkins ran against Joseph Green, the Dallas County acrobat, and defeated him. And I think that's a great way, for women to see that, we don't have to take what is just given to us, but you go out there and you work for it.
Imagine a woman taking such a bold role outside of the home amid the uncertainty of what a shift like this could mean for the future of families and politics.
The women of that time had a difficult task trying to navigate the public sphere and the private sphere, the politics in the home. And so many women were told, no, we don't want you here. And they said, but we have a right to be here. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from Hattie Wilkins.
Wilkins served as a Democrat in the Alabama House for 2 years.
She focused on child welfare, education, and healthcare.
She promoted a massive deal to make life better for kids.
It was looking to get $100,000 to be allocated for child welfare, and it actually carried 72-7.
Today, women hold 24 out of 140 seats in the State House and Senate.
It was about 1937 before another woman was elected to the state legislature. And even then, it was only, I believe, one or two. It takes generation before you start seeing multiple women serving at the same time in the state legislature.
Alabama ranks among the bottom 10 in the country when it comes to the number of women legislators. Nevada takes the top spot with the most. West Virginia is at the base with the least, according to the Center for American Women in Politics.
What are laws for women if they're not created by women? If women don't have a voice in it, then how can a law actually speak to what a woman needs and what a woman can do?
Hattie Wilkins proved what women could do by transcending gender bias and bagging the acceptance of many men in the House of Reps along the way.
I think knowing these stories, and that women were willing to step out of what was considered acceptable and normal is really important for women today.
Yes. Here's another interesting fact. The home of Hattie Wilkins still stands in Alabama today. Take a look at this. This historic 1800s house is located right in the heart of Montgomery. Gear Whitney and his wife bought it a few years ago. He didn't want to go on camera, but says people often stop here along Dallas Avenue to see it.
We discovered who owned the house and her history. Then it became a responsibility that I was more than happy to take on to ensure that the house maintained the integrity that it for original purposes, as well as to preserve that history, because there's only one time that you'll ever have somebody who broke the barriers that she broke at the time that she did, which was almost 100 years ago.
Weather coverage you can count on with Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust and the Way 31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network.
Now let's start with the Way 31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network, because for the first time in several days, we do have some rain in parts of our viewing area, primarily in southern middle Tennessee. As far as North Alabama is concerned, a little bit of rain popping up near the state line between Tennessee and Alabama, but most of us are still dry at this hour. Zooming on in here, you can see light to moderate rain falling near Collinwood, back toward Lawrenceburg, approaching Fayetteville with some light rain over in Lincoln County as well at this hour. This is just the initial surge of rain. Plenty more to come, including for us in North Alabama that have stayed mainly dry so far this evening. A much warmer night compared to the past several nights. It is still 61 degrees in Huntsville at this hour. We briefly dipped into the 50s a couple of hours ago, but it's actually starting to warm a little bit as clouds and just warmth ahead of the cold front is settling in across the North Alabama area. 56 our forecast. forecast low tonight, so no freeze or frost concerns. It's all about the rain and potentially a few storms that will be heading our way overnight tonight. Here's the regional situation. Cold front over central Arkansas back toward Texas right now. That is going to race our way tonight. The actual front will arrive tomorrow morning in North Alabama, but plenty of moisture streaming out ahead of that means a very good chance that we will see some rain overnight tonight and continued shower chances as we head into the day on Friday. So even behind the front, we could continue to see at least some rain showers for the first half of Friday before it eventually does dry on out here. Future radar showing the window for the most widespread rain, and the chance for thunderstorms will be generally around 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's when things will be most active across the area. Here's a pause at 4 a.m. and you can see pretty much everyone seeing rain at that point. That cluster of rain clears out by sunrise or shortly thereafter. So we might see a bit of a dry break around peak commute time. Off and on showers will remain possible, though, as we head into mid to late morning on Friday, lingering into the first half of the afternoon. Eventually, that does all clear out. So we will be dry by late afternoon into Friday evening across North Alabama. But it's still going to be a pretty rough-looking day out there, and I'll explain why in just a second. Again, rain totals generally around a half inch. There could be isolated spots that get upwards of 1 inch of rain with this system that rolls through tonight and into tomorrow. Our high tomorrow is going to be 60 degrees, but temperatures will be falling throughout the day. Watch as this cold front passes through. It's going to arrive in Huntsville around 9 a.m., and before the front arrives, we get close to 60 degrees, but shortly after, temperatures drop quickly. We're down to 51 by noon on Friday. We'll spend most of the afternoon in the mid to upper 40s, plus it's going to be breezy, so it may feel even colder than these numbers you see there on the map. Eventually, we will cool back down near freezing by Friday night, and yeah, here we go again with the frost and freeze concerns. 32 the forecast low Friday night, back down to the 20s on Saturday night and Sunday night, which means freezes are likely as we head into the weekend. It will be a dry weekend, more cloudy than sunny on Saturday, but we will get some sunshine to return on Sunday. Generally looking quiet for the weekend and for the first half of next week. It'll take a little bit to climb out of that cold snap that we'll return to this weekend, but eventually warming back near and even above average by late next week, with some 70s arriving by next Thursday.
Still ahead, students in Florence are celebrating the halfway point of the semester as part of an annual tradition. New details for this week's Skill to Work. We're taking a look at an upcoming job fair for Athens City Schools. It takes place next Monday from 5 to 7 at Athens Middle School cafeteria. School system says all levels of experience will be considered. You're asked to bring a resume and be prepared to speak to administrators in person.
New at 10, the UNA school community is celebrating the midway point of the spring semester. They marked it with a fountain lighting tonight. More than 2,000 people took part in the event. For many, it's always a celebration, and for first-timers, a memorial experience.
I saw it on Instagram, and the first thing I saw was free t-shirts, and I was like, I gotta come. But I didn't expect it to be like, I know, like this many people, the music, the food. It's really fun. I'm excited to see the fountain light up.
Congressman Robert Outerholt flipped the switch to light the fountain this year.